And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the official Aurora project update. If you're with us for the first time, this type of calls we're doing every week. It is streamed live to the YouTube. We are sharing our updates from the last week of the developments. We have every time we have something nice to share with you. And to do a little bit of an alpha leaks for you for the whole our community. So as always, we will start with the summary section where we're going to share some of the interesting things and some of the tangible results from this week. So here we go. We released the blog article on the Rainbow Bridge. You can check it out on the Aurora website, and you will figure this is a high level information about the okay, something is not working here. Yeah, okay, oh cool. And this is the high level information on how the near Rainbow Bridge works. This article is not too deep in the tech thing, and this will help you to understand, for ordinary users to understand how the bridge works and why we have chosen this design, this trustless design of the Rainbow Bridge. The articles also show some information about our current developments and future plans with the Rainbow Bridge. So go check it out. I think this is a very interesting piece of content for you guys. Second thing, we released the hardhat tutorial. Again, one of the things that is lonely anticipated by the community. Now the developers have the full set of the tutorials that are necessary for the development of the smart contracts, including MetaMask and Remix tutorial, Truffle tutorial, and hardhat tutorial. I believe this covers all of the nature tools that people are using, and in general, any Solidity and any developer that used to work with Solidity, now these developers are able to work with Aurora. So again, go check it out if you're a developer. I believe you will find some interesting things here. One of the things that we were working on in the past week, and actually past several weeks, is the automatic finalizations of the ERC20 transfers from Ethereum to Near. And as many of our users, many of our users have seen the specific information that, for example, Ledger wallets are not yet supported for receiving the funds or finalizing the transfers from Ethereum network to Near. And the problem was that in order to send this finalization transaction is pretty big. In order to sign, and unfortunately, Ledger is not able to sign this transaction just because we cannot fit it inside of the tiny memory of Ledger device. So one of the solutions for this problem was to launch a relayer that is actually, or a service that is actually going to automatically finalize these transfers. And actually, this is going to also remove one additional transfer required by from the user side, right? So this service now is ready, and we are starting its testing on the testnet. And now on the testnet, you can enjoy a single transaction transfers from Ethereum to Near. Also, this obviously improves the user experience a lot because the user only signs a single transaction and sends it in the Ethereum blockchain, and then the transfer just happens. And last but not least, this is not something that is visible to you guys, but this is a major milestone for the tech team, is that we have finalized a protocol upgrade for Near. It is called Math API. Within this upgrade, we are adding some support to the precompiles on the protocol level, and these upgrades will help us lower the costs of the EVM transactions. Things like EC recover and others, they now are going to move from the smart contract level to the precompiled level, or to the being implemented in the protocol, and which means that the execution costs for these precompiles are going to go down drastically. So again, good thing for all of the Aurora users. Transaction costs are going to go down. And these are not all of the updates. So it's a bit later in the discussion section. We're going to cover the stats and the info from the last month, because tomorrow is exactly 1 month since the Aurora launch. And just to do a quick rehearsal of what have happened within the past month, we're going to go there and discuss a little bit in detail there. But before,
maybe Alex, you could show the weekly updates and a little bit summarize what we did in the last month.
Weekly updates on the blog. Yeah. So just reminding everybody, you can go to the Aurora website, to the blog sections, and you can take a look at updates. Here we are posting our weekly updates. So there are now only 2 of them. Today is going to be the 3rd one. So you can find here all of the information about the updates that we actually were having every week. So yeah, this is going to be a summary of the last 4 weeks of what was happening with Aurora. Any additional ideas? What should I put in summary?
Well, I meant that you could have summarized what we actually did in the last month. It's not that the weekly update is going to have a summary of the last month. It's just going to be the weekly update.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I can go one. Do you want me to go one by one, right?
As you like.
Oh, yeah, sure. So yeah, just a quick overview. Aurora launched only a month ago, right? With almost no documentation, with almost no additional information. Since then, we developed this documentation. You can find it now here in the resources. We have launched also NEAR as an ERC20 token on Ethereum, and now NEAR actually prevails in the transfers over the bridge. You can see these big blue lines here, and you actually can see that within the last month, from somewhere from here, right? Or no, from somewhere from here. There is just a massive flow over the bridge. There is a pretty drastic increase of it, and we now have more than 3.3 million of assets bridged over the bridge, which is kind of cool. The amount of transfers is increasing. The amount of unique bridge users is also increasing. So Aurora launch works pretty well for the Rainbow Bridge itself. Inside of the documentations, as I said, we have developed the full set of the tutorials right now. We also, if you will go to our changelog, we also have lots of updates for the RPC calls and for different and also for Aurora smart contract. As you can see here right now, this is just the most recent update of the smart contract. What else?
We also have the API status page.
Yep. If you go to API aurora.dev, we now have a very nice monitoring of the situation of the Aurora endpoints, Aurora RPC, and as you can see, everything works good within the last month. So no problems with RPC. I think that this is actually an exceptional achievement, Arta, and that thanks for making sure that this works with 100% uptime. And also, you can take a look at the stats of the RPC. We have a very nice response time, or very nice latency, that is super low and pretty good for all of the parts of the world.
and going to get better soon.
Okay, that's great. And yeah, what else? Maybe I can go to the update from the previous week. Maybe I have missed something. Oh yeah, we have actually launched a faucet for the Aurora testnet, and now everyone in testnet, all of the developers are able to get a little bit of breached F to Aurora, and try out Aurora on the testnet. We also announced a partnership with Incentive Protocol, but yeah, we are going to announce lots of partnerships just in the following weeks. So stay tuned for these updates. Injective Protocol was one of the first projects to come on board with Aurora. Yeah, so something like that. This is the overview. We can go a little bit in depth into it in the discussion section. But now let's head up to the. Okay, so it's not the summary. I should have put it in status and current goal, right? Right. Let's put it here. And just to give you some info on our current goals. Our number one priority on the business side is actually finalizing the invest round for Aurora, and this is the top priority for us. We are hoping to do it within next week, and then continue our operations nominally. On the tech side, we are working hard to enable bridge transfers of F and any other ERC20 tokens to Aurora. And as you can see, we are now testing everything in the testnet, and it's a matter of days to deliver the bridging capabilities to Aurora mainnet. And obviously after this, this means that the flow of tokens is open for Aurora. So in case you are working on the project that uses tokens, maybe from the DeFi space, then it means that you will be able to deploy your project to Aurora mainnet and enjoy the seamless transfers and permissionless transfers in between Ethereum mainnet and Aurora for your users. But these are two priorities. Okay, need to put it here, right? Great. Let's go with the weekly updates from all of the members of the team. Ahmed, as always, let's start with you.
Yeah, so hi everyone. So mainly from my side this week was focusing on the documentation part and also assisting Marcelo in the hiring and the interviews and giving some support for the Aurora Dev Telegram channel. And I got some I got onboarded by Arto for the RPC layer, so I can also work with him on that part. So thanks Arto for the quick support and the onboarding, and also reviewing some other documentations as well. So that's mainly from my side for this week.
Okay, cool. From my side, I was working obviously more on the business side. I was having quite a bunch of investors calls. We started the company incorporation. Now the lawyers are working on the incorporation and also on additional docs preparation for the invest round. We did the final update of the terms of the invest round, right? So we started with one terms, and now due to the oversubscription of the rounds, we are adjusting this and making sure that all of the parties are satisfied there. So now we finalize these terms, and we are going to communicate them back to investors. I was doing a little bit of support of the Rainbow Bridge, and also was working together with Arto on finalizing the org chart, how everything is going to work, compensation, benefits, long-term incentives, and so on. I believe by now all of the team members are everything was communicated to them, so that's cool. Hopefully everyone is satisfied. So that was these were my tasks for this week. Arto.
Yeah, on my end, this week management matters took a lot of my time. So hiring, interviews, conversations, and also the fundraising. So I did not have a lot of time to work on implementation. On the topics that we discussed last week, I managed to score some Robston ETH. I got us 10,000 ETH from the Ethereum Foundation. So I want to thank Guillaume Ballet at the foundation for helping us out with that. And we will get more going forward as well. So I've transferred all of that over the bridge and put that in our faucet on the testnet. So we have plenty of ETH now to give out one ETH at a time. I have to say that the bridge experience was great. That was the first time that I did anything significant with the bridge, and everything worked really smoothly. Maybe the only thing that could be improved is that while you're waiting for the transfer to process, would be nice that it didn't just continue to say 10 minutes. It would, count down in some fashion. The other thing I did just today, I deployed, I tagged last week 1.2 release of the engine with some important improvements, but deployment got a little bit delayed because of all the other things on my plate. So it's just today been delayed, deployed. And as Ahmed mentioned, we troubleshooted issues in compatibility issues that we found, reported by the Loliswap team, I believe, and solved at least one issue. I believe we have another one that we still need to look at or dig deeper into. I also continued work on standing up the testnet block explorer, but it is not yet up because I did not have a whole lot of time for it this week. And the main obstacle there is that it needs to index the whole chain. It wants to have the historical blocks as well, and we don't even have those indexed in our RPC endpoint as yet. As in, we don't have the blocks prior to deployment of the EVM contracts, because of course they're not going to have any EVM transactions, and we do need to backfill that. That's a task that's been open for the last month. So we need to backfill that both for the endpoints and the block explorer. So I plan to sort that out next week. So those are my updates.
Okay, good. Evgeny.
So I was making a test for our Math API host functions, especially Blake 2, because those are not a standard function. It's some modified Blake 2 with some additional features, because Ethereum precompile can work with a non-standard number of rounds. And so our host function needs to be able to do the same. And actually, you said earlier that the Math API is scheduled to be merged today. It doesn't look to be ready for this. Last commit to that pull request was pushed just like 15 minutes ago, so this pull request doesn't look to be in a stable state. Probably it will need a bit more time. So,
okay.
And of course, this test will probably also need to be finished.
Mm-hmm.
That's it for me.
Okay, well, let's see. Hopefully everything will be good. Great, Evgeny Ukhanov, what's on your side?
It was code review. and meeting calls related to DAO Sputnik. I'm sorry, Aurora DAO. Also, Kirill asked me to implement functionality related to migration mechanism. So I started PR for that, and currently it's almost completed. I think today I will complete it. Also, activities related to Aurora DAO. I created Git repository that deployed contract to testnet, and also have a lot of fixes for UI. Currently, I'm trying to deploy it to Hetzner for testings. So it's really good progress currently. The DAO creations working, DAO info also working, proposals partly working. So currently I try to fix most functionality related to Aurora DAO.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Frank?
Yes, so I was working on security measures this week. You all have seen a little bit of that. We're going to improve the security a lot during the next weeks and months, but that's something we will discuss on the Monday calls for security reasons. And I was also spending a lot of time this week interviewing people and trying to get new hires. And finally, I reproduced the open EVM bully issues in the Aurora engine repository on a clean machine to make sure that they work for Joshua. He ran into some problem there, and that required a small fix. And so I think Joshua was busy with other tasks, but this is all ready to go on my side, even on a completely clean machine.
Does it mean actually, Frank, that bully more or less ready and finished?
Right now, it's ready. Yeah. So yeah, okay. We have this three issues open for the 3 test nets, and Joshua can take a look at them, and maybe there will be some problems with the bully, but so far it's ready. You can just take this problem tar file, reproduce it, also replace the contract to when you you want to debug the contract, right? So you have to update the contract and run the test set against that, and then when we fix an issue, we run the whole thing again and see where the next issue comes up. Okay. And then for quality, we will. That's what I will do. We will add those tests to a continuous integration to make sure that when we update the contract, we do not introduce errors.
And as far as I get it, there are no changes into the block numbers that we are failing, right?
That's right. Yeah. Like I said, Joshua was busy this week with other stuff, and I was also working on other things. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Hey, Joshua, do you already have power?
What? Oh yeah, I got power now. Yeah. At the beginning of the call, I didn't have any. So this week interviewed some potential hires, then completed some work on Math API with Bowen, and then added EIP 2565 support, which is the first step for the Berlin hard fork. That also was a whole improvement on mod on that precompile as well. We also finished off Crate 2 and self-destruct this week. And then Frank already talked about this, but we looked into some issues with the bully. And he just added some fixes so we had a consistent build between both of us. And then, of course, just various reviews. And yeah, that's pretty much all for me this week.
Cool. Kirill.
Hey, Auronauts. On this week, I improved JSON errors and handling workflow for the Aurora engine. Made some improvements to STNear event layer, did some refactoring there, and added in-year support. It's ready to be deployed on the mainnet soon. I also debugged and fixed Ethereum exit precompiles execution workflow. This was done during some positive testing during my work on the hard tests for S-exit precompiles and the ERC20 precompiles. Tests for Ethereum exit precompiles are finished, and these positive tests look good. I also did some refactoring on S-Connector and worked on storage regression tests. And of course, created several pull requests and reviewed and fixed several as well. More of these are in the comments.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it will be super cool to have this regression tests. Right, Marcelo.
Hi there. So Mode's outstanding work was on precompiles, who finally is green in CI. So basically all basic tests that we have and some more complex integration tests are working, only missing end-to-end tests and integrating with the front end, but most of that work is already done by Pierre. So we're almost there. Well, some extra work like adding support for generation, like for removing storage. We created this generation concept. This was fixed and merged this week. Also teamwork, excellent work in the team. Well, regarding the precompiles, we needed to make a change upstream to the EVM, to Sputnik VM. It's already merged. As far as like last time I saw, it was not released yet, but from the developer, they mentioned they were going to release it very soon, like today. We found the issue near API.js about the functions and burst serialization, so we managed to make a PR against it. Hopefully, it will get merged soon. We do have the relayers already to finalize transactions automatically on testnet for RC20, and it's in our plan to add this support for the other two connectors near F on both testnet and mainnet. This is coming hopefully next week, because the extra work will require, it's very little. It's only about deploying all contracts we have on testnet and mainnet. Relayer is ready. And well, I was working a little bit on the Docker image for Rainbow Bridge. This is relevant because I was working with this with a community member, but this is what I'm using to test actually Aurora engine easily locally, and I think it will be very useful tool in the future, because right now for the front end to be able to be tested on our current PRs is very complex, since front end relies on some deployed contracts, which we don't have a pipeline to do that right now. So using some Docker image will ease that work. As usual, a lot of hiring. So yeah, we're doing good in that end too. So some promising candidates. So yeah.
Okay. That's great. So maybe our updates going to be longer.
Yeah.
Cool. Matt, what's on your side?
So part of the week was spent on the Aurora fundraise, internal activities, and also some external investor reach out. Some setup activities related to the Aurora entity, the blog article about the Rainbow Bridge, a couple of miscellaneous administrative issues, and then quite some time coordinating around the features related to what we had hoped to get done on the Aurora Bridge this week. So I put a list there of things that are kind of interrelated, which given that delayed being able to launch the ERC20 on the testnet. But on the positive side, we feel that it might be doable by the end of next week to get bidirectional ETH and ERC20 transfers on both testnet and mainnet. And then a couple things that we did get done is we finished the restore workflow that will be needed when exiting back to Ethereum. That's not on the front end yet because it wouldn't make sense because that direction is disabled. And we started a design around the synchronization on the front end of the transactions and transaction filtering. And this idea sprang out of a discussion addressing the problem that currently with the restore workflow in the Rainbow Bridge, you can end up in a situation where you have duplicated transactions. And so we're thinking about a solution for that involving a synchronization with blockchain to detect your transaction so that you most likely wouldn't have to enter the restore workflow. And that would just mainly then be a troubleshooting tool for the support team. And this is kind of a first really rough draft of the UI for that. And yeah, and in addition to this rough UI, some ideas have also sprung up about improving the basic UI of the Rainbow Bridge. And I didn't have time to post those screenshots here, but it's looking, I think we're going to have some improvements on the basic UI as well coming up in the next week.
Okay, that's great to hear. Super cool. Michael.
This week I did some documentation work, including writing up a little paragraph about gas. And I tried looking into my Ether wallet support, but got blocked on that, so we'll have to come back to it. And I reviewed the hard hat tutorial. I also helped out with precompiles and generational storage, trying to get those things compiling. And I've started working on some presentations for internal NEAR folks, and in the background, whenever I have a moment, I work on an SDK refactor that I want to do, but it's sort of lowest priority.
Okay, good. And Pierre?
Yeah, so this week on the client library side of things, I worked on the Ethereum to Aurora recovery feature for ERC20 and ETH. I replaced the Web3.js with Ethers.js and the connectors libraries that we use on the Bridge to NEAR front end. I worked on the handling the new features that we have on testnet, which is the finalization, auto finalization of transfers, and seeing being able to detect that. So the way it works is that it waits for 10 extra blocks in the transfer, and if the relayer hasn't completed by that time, then the user is able to manually complete and it falls back to the regular workflow. And so the users will be able to deposit in this manner if should there be any delay with the event relayer. And so all of this is integrated and released on the test networks in the front ends. And yeah, I also did some planning of new features with Matt and Alex.
Yeah. Okay. So that's cool. And now going into Yuran's update. Hi, Yuran.
Hey everyone. So I spent some time around fundraise, lining up some polls, overall basically internal conversation. Then also spent time on finding like a social media to experiment with. Frank and I spoke to Ed, and he will be helping us on a part-time basis. Also looking into some kind of edge cases with US-based employees for Aurora, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Edge cases, yeah. Okay, cool. So now we have 45 minutes in the call. Let's head up to the discussion here. So I'm going to switch into the view mode here, since there are some info to show you, to all of you. So let's start with the usage stats. Artur, would you like to lead it?
Right. Yeah, so these stats are from Cloudflare. All of our traffic goes through Cloudflare. And the graphic you're seeing here shows the geographical distribution of all requests we received in the last month. The total figures for the last month are about 2 million requests in total to the endpoints, and about 2,000 plus attacks blocked by Cloudflare. The ultimate amount of requests is also limited by our rate limits. We still have pretty harsh rate limits in place just to prevent abuse. We are going to lift those during this month. So in the last 24 hours, we have about 100,000 requests to the endpoints in total. And what I would like to track, in addition to these Cloudflare statistics, which we need to also figure out how we're gonna actually collect them out of Cloudflare, probably via their API. What I would also like to track is on-chain stats. So if you look in the testnet explorer, there's for the Aurora contract, there's quite a lot of activity going on. There are a lot of especially deposit calls, and also of course submit calls, which are the EVM transactions, and you know, mostly succeeding, but also some failures. So would be nice to track those figures over time as they grow. Right now, I'm not aware of anything we could use for that, other than entirely, you know, custom scripting for it. But maybe there's some tooling already at Near that we could utilize. If somebody knows something about that, hit me up. Would you like to share the bridge stats as well?
Sure, I was sharing these stats, you know, very lightly, but you can see it here in duneanalytics.com, Zavadil Rainbow Bridge. Thanks again for Vadim Zavadil for building this dashboard for us. Yeah, since Aurora launch, you can see the spike in Near transfers from since we launched this in-Near connector. And the Near transfers are dominating the flow over the Rainbow Bridge, and yeah, we have quite a substantial amount of assets that are breached. Most of them are not being breached back. So mainly, so we don't have stats for this, but this is something that I know what happens. We need to add this information. Just not simple to attach analytics to data from Near. Obviously, we cannot do it. But maybe this is for the updates. I will ask Vadim to do the updates. But what you can see here is that people are using the bridge, people are experimenting, and obviously this is the mainnet, right? It's not the testnet one. People are experimenting, and well, almost 3.5 million of assets bridged, and bridge is still in a good condition, right? So all cool. What is the interesting thing is that we have we have around 400 unique bridge users that are actually doing the transfers. Not a lot from one point of view, but this is something that we can work with. We are able to see that the ordinary transfers they are actually okay. So no, sorry. And there should be Okay. Okay. So at some dashboard, probably not here, we have been calculating the mean transfer size, but actually you are able to calculate it from here. So it's like 600 transfers, which were transferring around 3 million of assets, which means that in general, one transfer is something around 5,000. Right, so it's 5,000 US dollars. But this is something that so it's not whales who are actually transferring money right now, but it's just more closer to the retail segment of users who are trying different things, trying to figure out how things are working on Near and on Ethereum. Yeah, and one additional thing to note is that we have quite a lot of Near transactions from Near native to eNear, and there are 804 different transactions, which is also kind of cool. So people are moving Near to Ethereum, and they're putting Near into the AMM solutions. And we actually have additional farming solutions with Ruler launched. Ruler now is incentivizing liquidity flow from Near to Ethereum blockchain. Okay, so these are some stats of the bridge. You can always come to this page and check what is happening right here, right now. And these stats are updated every day, I believe.
If you want to put in the link.
Sure. Okay, switching here back to the editing mode. I can okay, cool. So let's continue with the next topic. And we have here ETH-Bridge Video Explainer. Who was adding this? Arthur, it was you, right?
Yes, that's me. So just when I was going through the transfer of the 10,000 Robston ETH over the bridge, I thought that it would be really nice to have a video on YouTube that shows this process. And I'm wondering if anybody had a plan to make such a video, and if not, then do we have somebody in the team who knows how to make such a video? A little screencast of a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I think we all can, like anyone can do it. Zoom is able to record the video, and yeah. So Mikhail, you want to do it, right?
Yeah, I could do that. I've done that kind of a thing before.
Great. I think the most technically advanced part will be, not waiting 10 minutes on the video for the transfer to complete. So you'll have to speed that part up.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
No problem.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. One additional topic here is Telegram group spam. So last week, Near launched some kind of marketing event where people are able to subscribe to the to Telegram groups, including Aurora group, and also answer some of the questions in some kind of quiz. And then people are able to win some of Near, a little bit of Near tokens. And we have unfortunately lots of bots that were joining Aurora group. I believe everything started with around 600 or maybe 500 people in Aurora group, and then we ended up. So for now, we have around 14,000 people or accounts joined the group. So that was quite a dramatic increase. We were not ready for this massive bot attack. Obviously, there are people that were humans that were joining the group. So we did not react pretty fast on this, unfortunately. And yeah, we need to add bots for cleaning and additional stuff there, and checking that the people that have been joining there are actually people and not bots. We're going to work with the social media management team on this. So you can expect in the nearest future that the group is cleaned out from the bots, and everybody there are humans.
I believe that Ahmed added this suggestion here. Maybe Ahmed, you could elaborate on what you know about this bot against bots.
Yeah, so this Miss Rosa bot was used by other teams to clean up some lots of unnecessary messages and also irrelevant messages. So you're gonna find lots of people asking about the token and other stuff that is not related to the channel. So you can just clean up all of these stuff automatically. And also you can specify what kind of messages that could also be deleted or violating the channel.
Yeah, I can say that we have already a couple of bots already added as admins. And Julian, are you okay with taking an ownership on this, making sure that everything is okay with it?
Yeah, sure, I can help with that.
No, I was asking Julian.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay.
Not an expert, but yeah, let's connect async, Ahmed. You can tell me more about this one, and I'll deploy it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
All right. Yeah. So sorry, guys. We would love to see 14,000 people, obviously, in Aurora group. Unfortunately, at least some of them are bots right now, so not as good stats as you can imagine. Yeah, cool. Near bully. Arthur, this is from you, right?
Yeah. So we had discussed the success of Aurora depends on near, and there are certain things that could be improved all around the near stack. We will need to make it a priority to incentivize and help our colleagues at near to deal with those issues. To that end, Frank, we were thinking that it might be a good idea that if it's not too difficult, perhaps the bully might be able to also relentlessly spam transactions at the near RPC endpoint in terms of having a load testing tool for near. What do you think about that?
You mean the real endpoint or the local endpoint?
Yeah, I mean the whatever endpoint we pointed at, but the 3030 port protocol.
Yeah, we can definitely adjust it. I mean, I already used the bully to run on the near testnet, so we can deploy an EVM contract on the near testnet and then run against that.
Yeah, Michael, you know something about existing load test tools?
Yeah, since I've been around near a little bit longer, there was definitely a load testing effort that I was a part of, where there's a Python infrastructure for this. It's not happening on the testnet, it's happening on like a separate network. There's some cloud infrastructure for it. At the time we were calling it mocknet, because the whole point was that it wasn't public facing at all, it was just internal. But I mean, I'm sure they always appreciate more load testing, but I can say right now that definitely this kind of infrastructure exists, and we don't necessarily have to, use our own stuff. We could contribute to existing things.
Yeah, well, let's do this then. Frank, please sync with the people who worked on that tool, and I think with Max, and let's figure out what exists, what's being used, what are the future plans, what can we contribute, if anything.
Okay, I will talk to Max about it. He also mentioned that they put quite a bit of work into that, and it's not trivial to actually create a sustained load on near core.
Yeah, I worked on it myself, but I know that Bowen is thinking of passing it on to some new members of his near experience team. So it's probably worth looping in Bowen as well.
Yeah, I just want to mention that even if it works on the mocknet, since the bully was designed to take transactions and send them to the network, it means that, for example, there we will be able to, near bully will be able to repeat all of the near mainnet transactions and near testnet transactions. So it's not going to be the dummy load with dummy transactions, but actually but rather with actual transactions.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Yeah,
okay,
that's
but
cool.
I added to my to-dos and sync with them and see what we have there.
Okay. Any other things for discussion, for the public discussion?
Nothing from me.
I'm good.
Yeah. A quick note that to everybody that Aurora team is going to be presented at SCC conference that is going to happen in Paris around 17th of July. So if you want to meet us in person, you will be able to see us there, right? We're still figuring out how to get there, taking into account the pandemics. But yeah, this is a place where we would be able to meet you and talk about Aurora and in general Ethereum ecosystem. Okay. So then let's finish up with our plans for the next week. And as always, let's start with Ahmed.
Yeah, so I'm gonna focus for this week on the RPCs and giving more support to the Lily Swap team, and also adding more documentations.
Yeah, Lily Swap team is actually pretty pleased with your help. So yeah, thanks for doing this. And just to tell to everybody, if you're trying to work with Aurora, please come to Aurora Dev Chat, Dev Telegram group at Aurora is near Dev, and you will be able to get some support there if you're stuck somewhere. Cool. On my end, I would like to finalize the discussions with the investors next week. So this is going to be the last week for the round. And then over the next weekend, I plan to compose the round actually, and the following week to proceed with the legal work, with the papers and so on. By that moment in time, obviously, we need to finalize the incorporation of the company and prepare all of the necessary legal docs. So literally everything is coming to an end with the round, and this is the moment for me to focus on this and make sure that this is there and we have funding for our operations.
On my end, next week we have a bunch of hiring and interview work lined up. On the technical side of things, need to backfill and index that historical block data, as I mentioned earlier. And that will then enable the block explorer rollout and also unblock partners who are waiting on access to that historical data. Also, we have the edge infrastructure rollout, which has been actually waiting for a few weeks while we release other things. We can probably finish it next week. And of course, as discussed on this as alluded to on this call, we have a big connector rollout coming out, and I need to support that. And in addition, then with Joshua, we need to really dig into the Berlin hard fork support so we can land that soonest.
Evgeny?
So as written here, my task is to finish host functions. That's it for Aurora. I hope that it will actually be finished during the next week.
Yeah, that will be super cool. And who knows, maybe even today. But let's see. Evgeny, you have, what are your plans?
I should complete migration PR, and also it will be activities related to Aurora DAO.
Okay, Frank?
Yeah, I'm going to roll out some security improvements and work on infrastructure, and also have more interviews lined up and have a few more devs I'm trying to hunt down in person next week. And then also support Joshua if he runs into any problems with the bully issues.
Okay, hunt, but try not to kill them.
No, I will just incentivize them.
That's cool. Joshua, what's on your side?
I actually got to add that. Yeah, I got to work on the bully work as well. But yeah, I got to document the math API changes as a improvement protocol. Then I also got to add support for our own precompiles for the math API and start to get that ready. We also got 3 more EIPs for Berlin to be complete. And then I got an interview I got to do for a possible new hire next week.
Okay, that's cool. Kirill?
Yeah, so next week I plan to support the release of SNR ERC20 connectors on mainnet. For that, I'm going to finish our head test for ERC20 exits, the positive ones. I mean, also I want to finish storage regression tests and doing more Aurora engine reviews. And probably if I have some time, I will work on like reducing the, as we call it, like tech debt, which is some places for improvements and refactoring that we wanted to have for our engine, but as we have like a pretty frequent pace of development, we like miss some things, some optimizations and refactoring. So we call it like tech depth. So if I have some time, I will work on this part as well. I know that Michael is constantly working in this direction as well.
Okay, great. Marcelo?
Yeah, I'll be finishing RC20 precompile, making sure they work good on testnet and mainnet with front-end, and making sure that the relayer is working, ideally with all 3 connectors. By the way, we are using like the war relayers for 3 different tools at Aurora, so might as well.
Right. Yeah, need to make sure that that we have all of the information on this and we are operating them correctly, right? So we already have it, but need to sustain that high level of quality for everything. Okay, Matt, what's on your side?
Yeah, so the UI updates on the Aurora bridge, depending on what underlying capabilities are enabled throughout the week. The first notes and action items hosted on the Aurora DAO product, and possibly some nice surprises on the Aurora bridge core UI. And then all the usual management and admin stuff that pops up during the week.
Right. Mikael?
I'm doing the internal NEAR presentation next week, and that video tutorial that I volunteered for during this meeting. Ardo gave a suggestion for some additional checks we could add to our documentation CI, which I really like. So hopefully I'll get that in, and I'll continue chugging away at any background tech debt stuff like the SDK refactor.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Pierre?
So next, the main target will be the release, adding the functionality to the client libraries and releasing the SDK and integrating everything in the front end.
Cool.
And always keeping the libraries, things to do here and there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So Julian hop off from the call already. He needs to do some other stuff, but on his behalf, I can say that he's going to focus also on finalizing the invest round, and he will be helping a lot with any ad hoc tasks that are going to be within this particular activity. Okay, so that's cool. I'm going to check what is happening on the YouTube. So we have some people that are watching us. So hello, shout out to everyone there. Thanks for your support and thanks for cheering us. No particular questions there, but okay, no problem. Yeah, so we have 15 seconds. Maybe you have any other questions for discussions or anything? Going once, twice, and thrice. Okay, so that's cool. Which means that I'm wishing you a productive end of the day and the end of the week in general. And I wish you to find a little bit of time for rest during the weekend, because it seems like, according to our plans, our next week is going to be filled with different activities and quite substantial results by the end of the next week. Have a good rest. Thanks everyone for joining this call or watching it later in the YouTube, and see you next week. Goodbye.
Have a great weekend.
Bye bye.
See you guys.